Good morning, children. Today I am going to continue the lesson Ancient Civilizations of the World. Understood? What is the name of the lesson? Ancient Civilizations. Already we learned about the what is civilization, which are the important ancient civilizations of the world, and which are the important civilizations: Egyptian civilization, Mesopotamian civilization, and China civilization. So, and also in this lesson we learn about the Greek and Roman civilization. So in the previous class I explained about the Egypt and Mesopotamian civilization. Understood? What do you learn before I start the Chinese civilization? Once again we recall what you learn in the Egyptian civilization and also learn about the Mediterranean Mesopotamian civilization. So Egypt is one of the first civilization of the world. It is the gift of Nile River. What is the importance of the Nile River? It is the very longest river in the world. So without Nile, the Egyptian civilization will not be explored. And the Nile is the gift of Egyptian civilization. So when next we learn about the political history of Egypt, there are so many rulers ruled in Egypt: Menes, Khufu, and Amenhotep, Thomas. They are all the very important rulers of Egyptian civilization. So when you learn the Egyptian civilization, we also know about the pyramids. Pyramids of the gift of Egypt civilization. The largest pyramid of Giza is called the Great Pyramid of Khufu, which was built by Khufu. So the Amenhotep is the expanded his kingdom and established the empire by his conquest. Next, it was ruled by Thutmose first. He was the greatest conqueror, and the Egypt kings were also called as pharaohs. So pharaohs built so many pyramids in Egypt. So the Cleopatra and Hatshepsut was the women rulers of Egypt. They ruled the Egypt. Cleopatra was the last ruler of this dynasty. Understood? So even after the Cleopatra, Egypt became the province of Rome. So next you learn about the what are the contributions, and also we learn in previous class contributions of Egypt. Wheat and barley are the food crops of people. They wanted to Nile was used to the agriculture through canals. And the important thing was the large pyramids was built by Egyptians. The people believed that after death, life after death. So they presented the dead bodies. Sorry, they preserved the dead bodies. They preserved the dead bodies was called mummy. Understood? The Egypt, each city has its own goddesses. Sun and rivers are considered the worshipped as gods. The Egyptian script is known as hieroglyphics, which means sacred writings. They used like to write on papyrus grass growing the river Nile. The enormous knowledge of geometry which was used to the building large pyramids. The last statue of Sphinx is the most important contributions of Egyptians. And the Sphinx means, and it is an animal with the body of lion and head of man. So these are all the gift of Egyptians. Next, and also we learn about the Mesopotamian civilization. Mesopotamian civilization is also flourished on the bank of Tigris and Euphrates. The land between it is also Mesopotamia is called as land between the rivers. The Mesopotamia was ruled by Sumerians, Babylonians, Hittites, Assyrians, and New Babylonians. The famous ruler of this dynasty was Hammurabi. Hammurabi was the most famous king of Babylonia. He is famous for his code of laws. His code of law is based on ideas: an eye for eye and a tooth for tooth. Understood? The eye for an eye and tooth for a tooth. Babylonia was ruled by the Kassits and Hittites races who ruled for some time. Nebuchadnezzar was also one of the important king of Assyrians. His greatest contribution was hanging gardens, which was the seven wonders of the world. So the contribution of Mesopotamia was first to code of law in the world by Hammurabi, and also the ziggurats. Ziggurats means is the gift of Mesopotamians. Mesopotamia established the trade relations with Harappa and Egypt civilization. Each city has a guardian deity in the Egypt. high-raised temple named Ziggurat were built here. Cuneiform script was used for those people. Gilgamesh is the great epic from the Mesopotamians. Which was the great epic of Mesopotamian? Gilgamesh. Understood? Cuneiform is the script of writing of Egyptians. Ziggurat it is the high-raised temples in Mesopotamia. So these are all the things we learn in Mesopotamia. Today we learn about the Chinese civilization. What do you learn today? Chinese civilization and their contribution. The country of the east of India is called as China or China. So the yellow complacent Mongolian tribes, the Yangtze-Kiang and Hango rivers are the gift of Chinese civilization. Where did the Chinese civilization flourish? They flourish in the bank of Yangtze-Kiang and Hango river. So these rivers are called cradles of Chinese civilization. So they initially they ruled from the villages. Then they gradually developed their rule in cities. They were very they gave the more importance for growing paddy and silk. When you learn about the Egyptian civilization, there are so many dynasties ruled in China, and the important dynasties are Shang dynasty, Zhou dynasty, and Qin dynasty, and Han dynasty, and also Sung dynasty. These are all the important dynasty. Which are the important dynasty ruled in China? That means Shang dynasty, Zhou dynasty, Qin dynasty, Han dynasty, Shang dynasty. The famous rulers of China, these civilizations are Chiang Ti. He belongs to the Qin dynasty. He united what are the contribution of Chiang Ti? That is, he united the China and brought under the uniform law. He is also called first emperor of China. He built the 1,500 mile long Great Wall of China. Why did he build the Great Wall of China? Because to protect the China from enemies. So China was ruled by Han dynasty after Qin dynasty. The period is called as Golden Age in China. Which period is called as Golden Age? Han dynasty period is called as Golden Age. The famous ruler of Han dynasty was Yu Ti, who established the vast empire. Foreign trade gained the importance under his rule. There was a great demand for silk in Rome. As a result, the trade route between China and Rome became famous. That route is called as Silk Route. Buddhism entered the China during this period. In which period? Han dynasty period, especially Yu Ti period. Yu Ti, the famous ruler of Han dynasty. Art and literature received the great patronage during the rule of Han dynasty. So this period is known as Golden Age in the Chinese history. During the rule of Shang dynasty, which came to a power after Han dynasty, wood painting press, production of porcelain Pingani dishes. And the Mongolians ended the rule of Shang dynasty by conquering the Peking. Peking, that is the capital of Shang dynasty. Today, Beijing, the capital of China. The contributions of Chinese civilization to the ancient world was remarkable. They introduced the tea and silk to the world. In addition to this, invention like paper made of bamboo, explosives, painting brush, porcelains, mariners compass go to Chinese. They used the pictographic script. They used the bamboo slip vertically from the top to bottom. The more important contribution of Chinese civilization was Lao Tse and Confucius. They were the great philosophers. They ruled in Zhou. They were in Zhou dynasty period. Lao Tse taught the simple living, sacrifice, and harmonious relation with the nature. The Confucius is a re-established the lost moral and social values in the history. So the Lao Tse and Confucius are the very important philosophers of Chinese civilization. Understood children? What you learn today? ಏನಾಗ್ತಾಯಿತ್ತು? Chinese civilization ಇದು ಒಂದು ಏನ್ಷಿಯಂಟ್ ಸಿವಿಲೈಸೇಷನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದು. ಎಲ್ಲ ಸಿವಿಲೈಸೇಷನ್ ಥರ ಇದು ಸಹ ನದಿ ದಡದಲ್ಲಿನೇ ಕಂಡುಬರುತ್ತೆ. ವಿಚ್ ಆರ್ ದ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ರಿವರ್ಸ್ ಅಂತಂದರೆ ಹ್ಯಾಂಗ್ ಮತ್ತು ಹ್ಯಾಂಗೋ ರಿವರ್. ಸೊ ದ ಪೊಲಿಟಿಕಲ್ ಹಿಸ್ಟ್ರಿಯನ್ನು ನಾವು ನೋಡಿದಾಗ ದೇ ಆರ್ ಸೋ ಮೆನಿ ಡೈನಾಸ್ಟೀಸ್ ರೂಲ್ ದ ಚೈನೀಸ್. ಯಾರು ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಡೈನಾಸ್ಟೀಸ್ ಅಂದರೆ Shang dynasty, Zhou dynasty, Qin dynasty, Han dynasty and Shang dynasty. ಸೊ ಈ ಚೈನೀಸ್ ಸಿವಿಲೈಸೇಷನಲ್ಲಿ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ರೂಲರ್ಸ್ ಯಾರು ಅಂದರೆ ಚಿಂಗ್ ಹ್ಯಾಂಗ್ ಟಿ ಮತ್ತು ವು ಟಿ. ಸೊ ಚಿಂಗ್ ಹ್ಯಾಂಗ್ ಟಿ ಇವನು ಕ್ವೀನ್ ಡೈನಾಸ್ಟಿಗೆ ಸೇರಿದವನು. ಇವನ ಕಾಂಟ್ರಿಬ್ಯೂಷನ್ಸ್ ಏನಪ್ಪ ಅಂದರೆ ಈ ಯೂನಿಫೈಡ್ ದ ಚೀನಾ ಎಲ್ಲ ಒಂದುಗೂಡಿಸಿ ಒಂದು ಯೂನಿಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಲಾ ಅನ್ನು ತರ್ತಾನೆ. ಇವನು ಮತ್ತೊಂದು ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಕಾಂಟ್ರಿಬ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಗ್ರೇಟ್ ವಾಲ್ ಆಫ್ ಚೀನಾವನ್ನು ಕಟ್ಟಿದ್ದು ಜಿ ಆ್ಯಂಗ್ ಟಿ. ಯಾಕೆ ಕಟ್ತಾ ಇದನ್ನು ಅಂದರೆ ಇದು 1500 ಕಿಲೋಮೀಟರ್ ಉದ್ದ ಇರತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಒಂದು ಸ್ಟ್ರಾಂಗ್ ವಾಲ್ ಇದು. ಇದೇ ಎನಿಮಿಗಳು ಅಟ್ಯಾಕ್ ಮಾಡಬಾರ್ದು ಅಂತೇಳಿ ಗ್ರೇಟ್ ವಾಲ್ ಆಫ್ ಚೀನಾವನ್ನು ಯಾರು ಕಟ್ಟಿದ್ದು ಶಿಯಾಂಗ್ ಟಿ ಕಟ್ತಾನೆ. ಸೊ ಆಫ್ಟರ್ ದಟ್ ಇವರ ರೂಲ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದು ಕ್ವೀನ್ ಡೈನಾಸ್ಟಿಯ ನಂತರ ರೂಲ್ ಮಾಡಿದವರು ಹ್ಯಾನ್ ಡೈನಾಸ್ಟಿ. ಹ್ಯಾನ್ ಡೈನಾಸ್ಟಿಯನ್ನು ಗೋಲ್ಡನ್ ಏಜ್ ಆಫ್ ಚೀನಾ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಈ ಒಂದು ಹ್ಯಾನ್ ಡೈನಾಸ್ಟಿಯ ಫೇಮಸ್ ರೂಲರ್ ಯಾರು ಅಂತಂದರೆ ಯು ಟಿ. ಸೊ ಈ ವಾಸ್ ಈ ಎಸ್ಟಾಬ್ಲಿಷ್ ದ ಗ್ರೇಟ್ ಎಂಪೈರ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದು. ಇವನು ಕಾಂಟ್ರಿಬ್ಯೂಷನ್ಸ್ ಏನಂದರೆ ಈ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟೆಡ್ ದ ಫಾರಿನ್ ಟ್ರೇಡ್. ಈ ಗೇವ್ ದ ಮೋರ್ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಫಾರ್ ಫಾರಿನ್ ಟ್ರೇಡ್. ಇವನ ಪೀರಿಯಡಲ್ಲಿ ಸಿಲ್ಕ್ ರೋಮ್ವರೆಗೂ ಚೈನಾದ ಸಿಲ್ಕಿಗೆ ರೋಮ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ತುಂಬ ಬೇಡಿಕೆ ಇತ್ತು. ಸೊ ಇದು ಟ್ರೇಡ್ ರೂಟ್ ಬಿಟ್ವೀನ್ ಚೀನಾ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ರೋಮ್ ಬಿಕಾಮ್ ಫೇಮಸ್ ಆಯಿತು. ಸೊ ಇದನ್ನು ಸಿಲ್ಕ್ ರೂಟ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೇವೆ. ವಾಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಸಿಲ್ಕ್ ರೂಟ್? ದ ಟ್ರೇಡ್ ರೂಟ್ ಬಿಟ್ವೀನ್ ಚೀನಾ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ರೋಮ್ ಇಸ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ ಸಿಲ್ಕ್ ರೂಟ್. ಸೊ ಯು ಟಿ ಪೀರಿಯಡಲ್ಲಿ ಬುದ್ಧಿಸಮ್ ಸಹ ಭಾರತದಿಂದ ಚೀನಾಗೆ ಎಂಟ್ರಿಯನ್ನು ಕೊಡುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇವನ ಪೀರಿಯಡಲ್ಲಿ ಆರ್ಟ್ ಮತ್ತು ಲಿಟ್ರೇಚರ್ ಸಹ ತುಂಬಾ ಡೆವಲಪ್ ಆಗಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದನ್ನು ನೋಡ್ಬೋದು. ಆದ್ದರಿಂದ ಇವನ ಕಾಲವನ್ನು ಗೋಲ್ಡನ್ ಏಜ್ ಇನ್ ಚೈನೀಸ್ ಡೈನಾಸ್ಟಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದು. ಸೊ ಇವನ ನಂತರ ಶಾಂಗ್ ಡೈನಾಸ್ಟಿ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಆಫ್ಟರ್ ಹ್ಯಾನ್ ಡೈನಾಸ್ಟಿ ವುಡ್ ಪ್ರಿಂಟಿಂಗ್ ಪ್ರೆಸ್ಸು, ಪ್ರೊಡಕ್ಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ಪ್ರೊಸಿಲಿಯನ್ ಪಿಂಗಾಣಿ ವಸ್ತುಗಳು ಪ್ರಪಂಚದಲ್ಲಿನೇ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ತುಂಬ ಫೇಮಸ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದು. ಸೊ ಇವನ ನಂತರ ಮಂಗೋಲಿಯನ್ಸು ಇವನ ಕ್ಯಾಪಿಟಲನ್ನು ಶುಂಗ್ ಡೈನಾಸ್ಟಿಯ ಕ್ಯಾಪಿಟಲ್ ಪೀಕಿಂಗನ್ನು ವಶಪಡಿಸ್ಕೊಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಇವತ್ತು ಯಾವುದು ಚೀನಾದ ಕ್ಯಾಪಿಟಲ್ ಅಂತಂದರೆ ಬೀಜಿಂಗ್. ಸೊ ಕಾಂಟ್ರಿಬ್ಯೂಷನ್ ನೋಡಿದಾಗ ಚೈನೀಸ್ ಟು ದ ಆನ್ಷಿಯಂಟ್ ವರ್ಲ್ಡಲ್ಲಿ ತುಂಬದೇ ಆದಂತಹ ರಿಮಾರ್ಕಬಲ್ ಕಾಂಟ್ರಿಬ್ಯೂಷನ್ನ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಟೀ ಮತ್ತು ಸಿಲ್ಕನ್ನು ಇಡೀ ವರ್ಲ್ಡ್ಗೆ ಪರಿಚಯ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಟ್ಟವರು ಚೈನೀಸ್. ಇದರ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಅವರು ಬ್ಯಾಂಬೋ ಪೇಪರು ಮತ್ತು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲೋಷನ್ ಸಿಡಿಮದ್ದುಗಳನ್ನು ಪೇಂಟಿಂಗ್ ಬ್ರಷ್ಗಳನ್ನು, ಪ್ರೊಸಿಲಿಯನ್ಸು, ಮೆರಿನಾ ಕಂಪ್ಸ್ ಇವೆಲ್ಲ ಯಾರ ಕೊಡುಗೆ ಅಂದರೆ ಚೈನೀಸ್ ಕೊಡುಗೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದು. ಇವ್ರದ್ದು ಪಿಕ್ಟೋಗ್ರಾಫಿಕ್ ಸ್ಕ್ರಿಪ್ಟ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಚಿತ್ರಗಳನ್ನು ಬರವಣಿಗೆಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಬಳಸಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದನ್ನು ನೋಡ್ತೇವೆ. ಆದ್ದರಿಂದ ಇವರನ್ನು ಪಿಕ್ಟೋಗ್ರಾಫಿಕ್ ಸ್ಕ್ರಿಪ್ಟ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೇವೆ. ಸೊ ಮತ್ತೊಂದು ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಕಾಂಟ್ರಿಬ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಇಡೀ ಪ್ರಪಂಚಕ್ಕೆ ಇಬ್ಬರು ಗ್ರೇಟ್ ಫಿಲಾಸಫರ್ಸು ಚೀನಾದವರು. ಯಾರು ಅಂದರೆ ಲಾವೋಟ್ಸೆ ಮತ್ತು ಕನ್ಫ್ಯೂಷಿಯಸ್ಸು. ಇವರನ್ನು ಗ್ರೇಟ್ ಫಿಲಾಸಫರ್ಸ್ ಅಂತಲೇ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಲಾವೋಟ್ಸೆ ಒಂದು ಸಿಂಪಲ್ ಜೀವನ ಹೇಗೆ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಸ್ಯಾಕ್ರಿಫೈಸ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಏನು, ನೇಚರ್ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಹಾರ್ಮೋನಿಯಸ್ ಆಗಿರಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನು ತನ್ನ ಫಿಲಾಸಫಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲೇನ್ ಮಾಡಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದು. ಕನ್ಫ್ಯೂಷಿಯಸ್ಸು ಪುನಃ ಮಾರಲ್ ಮತ್ತು ಸೋಷಿಯಲ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂಸನ್ನು ಸೊಸೈಟಿಲಿ ಎಸ್ಟಾಬ್ಲಿಷ್ ಮಾಡಿದವನು ಕನ್ಫ್ಯೂಷಿಯಸ್ಸು. ಸೊ ಇವರಿಬ್ಬರನ್ನು ಅಂದರೆ ಲಾವೋಟ್ಸೆ ಮತ್ತು ಕನ್ಫ್ಯೂಷಿಯಸನ್ನು ಗ್ರೇಟ್ ಫಿಲಾಸಫರ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಚೀನಾ ಅಂತಲೇ ಕರೀತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ದೀಸ್ ಆರ್ ಆಲ್ ದ ಥಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ವಿ ಲರ್ನ್ ಟುಡೇ. ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟುಡ್ ಚಿಲ್ಡ್ರನ್ಸ್? So next, fill in the blanks. All of you look at the fill in the blanks. Open the page number 75. The trade route between China. First one is the trade route between China and Rome was known as Silk Route. Understood? The Chinese wrote in dash script, pictographic script. What type of script they wrote? Pictographic script. Chinese script is called pictography. On which river bank? Question and answer. On which river bank did Chinese civilization evolve? ಹ್ಯಾಂಗ್ ಟಿಸಿಕಿಯಾಂಗ್ ಮತ್ತು ಹ್ಯಾಂಗೋ ರಿವರ್. ವಿಚ್ ಆರ್ ದ ಟೂ ರಿವರ್ಸ್? ಹ್ಯಾಂಗ್ ಟಿಸಿಕಿಯಾಂಗ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಹ್ಯಾಂಗೋ. ನೇಮ್ ದ ಡೈನಾಸ್ಟಿ ದಟ್ ರೂಲ್ಡ್ ಚೀನಾ. ಶಂಗ್ ಡೈನಾಸ್ಟಿ, ಚೌ ಡೈನಾಸ್ಟಿ, ಕ್ವಿನ್ ಡೈನಾಸ್ಟಿ, ಹ್ಯಾನ್ ಡೈನಾಸ್ಟಿ and Shang dynasties. Who built the Great Wall of China and why? Who built the Qi Hang Ti built the Great Wall of China because to protect the China from enemies. Write about the note of UT. UT period is also called as Golden Age in the history of China. It belongs to the Han dynasty. He gave the more importance for trade between Rome. The Silk Route started in the period of UT, and also he gave the more patronage, give the encourage for art and architecture, and also he was one of the responsible person to spread the Buddhism in China, and also he gave the more importance for art and literature. So this period is called Golden Age. Next lies the contributions of China to the ancient world. What are the remarkable contribution? He introduced the tea and silk to the world, and also the inventions like paper, bamboo, explosive, painting brush, Brazilians and Mariner's compass are the gift of Chinese. Name the philosophers of China. Lao Tse and Confucius were the more important philosophers of China. These are the things we learn in this lesson. Understood, children? So I think all of you understand about this lesson. In next class I will continue. Till now, thank you. Take care. Goodbye.